Good evening, everyone, or good day, good whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. It's Friday here, and I can tell you exactly what time it is. It's beer o'clock. Cheers, everyone. Oh, dear me. First of the day. First of the week, if we say the week starts now. We can do that, can't we? Let's have a look and see who's in. Hope you all had a fantastic week. I have a little bit of an announcement to make this evening, and we'll get to that as we go along. I see our old friend Mr. Robert Bald was first in this week. Hot on the Heels was Rent to Kill, and then Derek Clacton, Mark Kerno, Steve Entwistle, Dave Fiendish is there. So is Terry Day, Johnny Random, and Dr. Gomez one. There's Craig Stamen, who is gigging tonight. Well, I hope you're having a good one, mate. Then we've got Sean House, Grandpa Joe, and excuse me. And Grandpa Joe, once again, wishing us all a happy and safe weekend. There's Peter Collins. We've got Anton, PFY Guitars. And who else we got? Amadeus even saying, save our roll call. Yes, that's what I'm doing now, mate. Trying to kind of hurry up about it, though. Then who else have we got? Let's have a scroll down. There's Peter Nicholson, Ben Allmark, Vincent Brennan, Joe McMurray, and who else have we got? We got Relaxing Meditation, Theme Tunes, Cylon Hybrid, Peter Borthwick, Timbo is there, so is Michael Palmer, David James, Michael Purcell is in, so is Dogfather61, who won't be watching because he's cooking the evening meal, and well, I'm sure it's going to be delicious, mate. Mine is already done. I batch cooked a big load of curry a few weeks ago, and it's just sitting on the hob waiting to be warmed up. Then we've got Michael Dodds, long time no see, mate. Hope you're okay. Then there's David Evans, and who else we got? Old Mick the Trier. That's a great handle, isn't it, mate? Saying, have one for me, keep the vids coming. Oh, I shall do both, mate. Then we got John Ross, and John Mack is there. So is Malcolm Spillett. And scrolling down, I see we've got 60s Man, Calby and the Rocco Cap from a rather soggy Montreal. Well, it's the same here in Redcar, I've got to tell you. David Mitchell is in, so is John Jones, Michael Beliveau, and who else we got? We've got Edwin Toonan back after a bit of a sabbatical. And then there's Jimmy James and Robert Gallagher. And who else we got? Paul Bush, James Hunt, Ian Rouse is in, so is John Channing. And scrolling down, I can see that we've got Chris Ottewell, Deco Dude, and Stephen Sproson. Nice to see you, mate. There's the Essex Cat as well, and Robert Galbraith. Colin Falcon is in. He's just around the corner from me. You can probably hear me reading this out loud as we speak. Then we've got Moto Takahi. I hope I pronounced that right. I do apologise if any of my pronunciations butcher any kind of names that you put in the in the chat. I'm just a thick northern lad with too many chins and not enough hair after all. But he's in Jard-sur-Mer in France, in the sunshine. Well, send some of it our way, mate. Then scrolling down, so we've got Nathan J. Aoyong and Cal Texper. And who else we got? We've got Amadeus. I just read out your save the roll call thing there. I didn't see it delete. I have noticed a thing, actually. For some reason, when I first check the live streams live, I kind of log onto YouTube and check that it's there, just like a little belt and braces approach, and I'll see comments that are there, and then I'll go back later and they're not there anymore. That's not me doing that, by the way. That is just IT doing what IT does, I suspect. Then we've got Stuart Young, Scally 1969, and Farjon is in. So is Lithium Cad, Roy Angel, and Brad Dowell, Thomas Mulvaney, Stratboy 999 is there. Then we've got Wrexham Matic and James Galpin, Ron Wells, and anyone else. Gary Shaw is in. Nice to see you, mate. We've got Pete Benoit, Dudley Squat, and Steve Cassidy Guitar. There he is there. A good friend of this channel. Cy Rollinson is in, so is Ghost Winters, And anyone else? Have I missed anyone? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I will just a little bit of a reminder for those non-UK residents who are joining us on a Friday regularly. Our clocks change. We go back an hour, our clocks this weekend. So that will mean that this live stream for non-UK viewers will be an hour later next week until, the clocks synchronise. If we have to go through this ridiculous thing twice a year where we change the clocks for no apparent reason, no reason I've ever been told ever seems to make sense, but we still seem to do it. You would think it wouldn't be beyond the wit and wisdom of, collective governments of the world to make sure that everybody does it on the same day if you're going to do it. But no, that would just be too much like common sense, wouldn't it? And we are talking about world leaders here. But yes, less said about that, the better, I think. Anyway, as I say, hope you've all had a fantastic week. I'm going to tell you what's coming up on the channel in a moment, but the big news around these parts is that, as many of you know, I have been beavering away writing a book. The working title for the book, which I've decided I'm going to stick with for the final title, because it basically does exactly what it says on the tin. The working title and the final title is Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist. Okay, that is what the book is titled, and as I say, basically it says it all, doesn't it? Well, I started writing that book back at the beginning of August, I think it was, and here we are, 37,000 words later. And about 20 guitar solos, all videoed and transcribed and tabbed out and everything, and the accompanying number of jam tracks and a few video presentations that go along with explaining everything. All of that time later, it is now finished. It is done. I have typed the last words of it today. I've got the proofread to go through, but it is basically done. And it covers everything from like the basics, right sort of entry level, ground floor level, from the chromatic scale, what notes are on what frets of the guitar, all the way up to things like, diminished chords, augmented chords. We touch on so many things here: modes, blues, chord construction, harmony, keys. Basically all the useful stuff that you're going to need as a rock guitar player. I made a conscious decision. I was going to put no music notation in there, so there's no we don't discuss rhythms, things like triplets and semi-quavers or 16th notes or whatever. We don't go anywhere near that, and we don't go anywhere near anything that has any relevance to jazz, because it is called Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist after all. Anyway, as I say, it's all finished, and I would expect that within, well, certainly in time for Christmas, it is going to be available. It's going to be available as a PDF, and as I say, there's jam tracks and video content. It's not going to be a print copy because it needs to be an electronic copy, because there are links that you need to click on in the in the text to view the videos and stuff like that. So that's my big announcement. I'm really, really pleased with myself over this, I've got to tell you, and I'm very excited to be offering all of this, as a sort of a one-stop shop, really. Timbo's saying, is it available in hardback? No, it isn't. So anyway, let me just have a quick vape after that. So yes, I'm really quite excited about this. It's probably going to be on sale from my website, and the website is due a little bit of a tidy up and an overhaul and stuff like that. So I might just bundle that into the process as well, because I haven't done anything significant with the website since about 2018. So I think it's about time I give it a little bit of a spring clean and a spruce up. The website is looking a little bit sort of 2002 at the moment, if you know what I mean. So time to modernise it, and it's dead easy. I use GoDaddy, and it's easy to kind of to just drag and drop stuff in there. Edwin Toonan's asking, what's the price? I'm thinking, hold your breath, because it's not going to be, it's not going to be bargain basement price. I'm thinking $49.99 in terms of a suggested price, because there is, well, it's pretty much about a year's worth of guitar lessons condensed into, as I say, 37,000 words, which translates to just over 100, I think it's either 103 or 104 pages of A4, which if that was like a standard size book, like this kind of size, then that's probably going to be kind of double that. And as I say, you get all of the video content as well, and there's extra pages that aren't in the book because they're the Guitar Pro and PDF tabs that go along with it. It's going to be just over half the price of a block of 6 lessons from me. So that kind of gives you an idea. Roy Angel is saying, what microphone am I using? And he's very generously given me $5. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Did I say Roy Angel? If you're super chatting me, the least I can do is get your name right. It's Ray Angel. I beg your pardon so much. Thank you so much for the super chat, mate. It's massively appreciated. This microphone is just a Fifine microphone, Fifine microphone that sells for about 40 quid on Amazon, and it's just a USB microphone, and it works. It does what I need to do for my for my purposes, but that's what I'm doing. Some people are saying it's too cheap. Steve Cassidy saying it's too cheap. Yes, there will be a discount for Patreons, Edwin. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. As I say, it's I haven't quite got. I'm still in this. My mind is still in sort of creative mode with it, in terms of getting it finished and kind of finishing the work on actually creating it. The business side of things will be something to think about this week. Brad Dowell is asking, what interface do I use? Well, I have 2 computers here, both with the same 2 versions of the same interface. I use a Behringer Euphoria UMC 22 on both machines. On that one you can see there, and on the one that I'm using at the moment to talk to you good people on. It's just a cheap and cheaper little interface. And I did have a Focusrite something or other, which was about 3 times the price, very, very briefly. And I just could not get that thing to work properly. It was, even with the input level turned all the way off, anything that you played through the input was just making the meters go into the red all the time. So I just went back to using the Behringer. It's never let me down, and it's just probably one of the cheapest interfaces you can buy. Scally 1969 is saying, have you ever played or reviewed an Epiphone Casino? I played one many years ago, an original one from the 60s. I dread to think how much that's worth nowadays. It wasn't mine, but it belonged to the singer and rhythm guitarist of a band that I was in, and my abiding memory of it was that it was just a feedback machine, not at particularly high gain or high volume either. It was just just through a moderately, I'm talking, what's it, like a Keith Richards kind of levels of gain. For kind of that sort of crunchy blues, not edge of breakup kind of sound. Once you got the thing up to sort of gig volume, it would just squeal and feedback like I don't know what. So that was my abiding memory of it. Edwin Toonan, thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Sorry I missed a couple of weeks, mate, but cheers. What beer are you on today? I'm on the Heineken, Edwin. Of course I am. Since that's in the intro music these days, I kind of feel an obligation to be on the Heineken whenever kind of circumstances allow. The only time I will deviate from the Heineken really is if there's a really kind of ridiculous cheap 2-for-1 offer on Carlsberg Export or Kronenberg or something like that. But I got to tell you, I think the Heineken and possibly Holsten Pils are my favourite tipples at the moment. There's I am enjoying it. I do say I think I prefer the Heineken out of a can as well. You get the stuff in the bottles, but I think this one has the edge. Possibly that's just that's just psychological. Maybe it's exactly the same stuff. Well, it will be exactly the same stuff, but I just prefer it out of a can. Anyway, I need to tell you what's coming up on the channel this week, don't I? Yes, indeed. Under normal circumstances, there are no Saturday videos, as you know, these days, and these are normal circumstances, so there won't be a video this Saturday. But the Sunday videos, I'm basically always looking for an excuse to kind of cobble together a piece of music and have a jam and then kind of talk to you about whatever guitar it was or pair of guitars that I'm comparing or, whatever kind of pedal or multi-effects unit or whatever it is that I use to create the piece of music. Basically, I'm just usually looking for a peg to hang it on. I like to do a jam. I like to write a piece of music, and I need an excuse to do it. Well, this Sunday is one of those rare occasions where I literally couldn't think, there's no guitars in here to review. There's nothing that's been here long enough to do a long-term kind of view on. I think I've pretty much covered all of the comparisons between similar guitars that I've got that I could do a comparison between, like, all the different permutations of Telecaster style guitars. What am I going to do? In the end, I just thought, well, do I really need an excuse to have a bit of a jam and put it up on YouTube? I didn't used to. I used to regularly just kind of sit down and say, right, here's a bit of a jam that I did. Hope you like it. So that's essentially what Sunday's video is all about. It's called the No Excuse Jam because I didn't have an excuse to do it. Then on Monday, as usual, a solo analysis. And if you were watching my most recent Top 5 Tuesday video where I was talking about underrated guitar songs from the 70s, you'll know that I mentioned a particular song by a band called City Boy, a song called 5705, and I said I was going to do a solo analysis of that, and I have, and it's going out on Monday. The wonderful Mike Slamer of City Boy, great guitar player, and I think the title of the video is something like, remember when the top 40 used to sound like this? Because it certainly doesn't anymore, and the world is a poorer place for it. Then on Tuesday, we are looking at another top 5 list, because that's what we do on a Tuesday. And the topic under discussion this week is, I've probably done this one before, but if I have, it's been a while, and I thought I'd do it again. My 5 favourite male rock vocalists. As I say, I've probably done this before, but I've done that many videos since I started going to 5 videos a week that, and my memory isn't getting any younger. But as I always say in these top 5 videos, and, as I usually try and remember to say anyway, memory not being what it used to be, that when I do these lists, and that's what the list looks like this week, ask me again in a little while and it might have changed. So that is what Tuesday's video is about, my 5 favourite male rock vocalists. I wonder if you can tell what the following week's video is going to be, by the way. Yes. Then on Wednesday, I got a request in the live stream, actually, I think it was, a few weeks ago, to do a video about tapping, the old kind of twiddly stuff. Because I do sometimes use it, although I wouldn't consider myself an aficionado or an expert on it. You look at somebody like Nick Jennison or someone like that, he's a monster at that way of playing. But nevertheless, it's a topic that I've covered before, but it has been a while, so I thought I'd revisit it and hopefully bring a different perspective to it. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the chat there. Steve Cassidy, 5 favourite male rock climbers next week. And to be honest with you, Steve, you're asking if Paul Rodgers is on there. I do these videos about 5 weeks in advance, so sometimes remembering what I've said in the videos is a bit tricky, because I obviously start off with more than 5. It's and I often forget which ones I've narrowed it down to. So you'll just have to watch the video, mate. Let's have a look. What was that? I just caught something in the chat there. So I'm just seeing if I can find it, and I can't because I'm old and decrepit. Anyway. Yes, that's Wednesday's video, bit of tapping. Then on Thursday, the piece of music that you see these days, or see and hear these days, introducing the live stream. The theme tune, if you want to call it that, is under the microscope on Thursday. A little bit of a behind-the-scenes view of me putting it together, and you see me playing it. You see me playing the various elements of it and everything that went into kind of making that little kind of 60-second piece of music that we kick off the live stream with this week. So Sunday, the No Excuse Jam. Monday, 5705 solo analysis. Tuesday, top 5 male rock vocalists. Wednesday, a little bit of a tapping tutorial. And Thursday, a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at me putting together this live stream's theme tune. What we're saying, there's a couple of people name checking me there. Let me just go back and check those. Any thoughts on Guthrie Govan not being included in the Rolling Stone top 250 guitarists? Yeah, well, the magazines and things like this routinely come out with lists like this that are just compiled by people who have no kind of understanding of the subject that they are that they are kind of working on. The thing is that I was mentioning this to a student the other day. If you are, let's say, a financial journalist, then you are probably a trained economist. If you are a sports journalist, you've probably been a sportsman or sportswoman at some point in your career. But the thing is, with music journalism, most music journalists have never been musicians. And it's a kind of a unique field of journalism where we have this kind of people writing authoritative works and kind of articles on a topic that they've never ever done themselves for the most part. So it doesn't surprise me is the short answer. I saw Rick Beato's video on it, and I mean there was a TV show. Gosh, it must be getting on for 20 years ago. I think it was on Channel 4 in the UK, where they were talking about the top 5, I think it was top 10 or something like that, bands in particular genres. And they got to progressive rock, and Pink Floyd didn't get a mention. So I just thought, well, you've just blown your credibility there. Amadeus is saying, John, you mentioned modes in your book. How important are they? Are they worth learning verbatim? I do plan on becoming better acquainted with them. Right, here's the thing, mate. The thing about modes is everyone uses them. There are 2 types of musician in the world: those who understand the modes they are using, and those who just kind of use them and aren't really aware of what they're doing. And the Beatles used modes. Angus Young uses modes in his soloing. Everybody uses them. So it's just another one of those things where there are 2 ways of looking at it, really. You can either enjoy the thrill of the chase and the joy of the unexpected discovery when something works that you weren't in a particular way that you weren't expecting it to work in a particular way, and get that and just kind of enjoy those little surprises. I was never like that. I always wanted to understand why. I was the kind of kid that when I got a bike for Christmas, then the day after Christmas, it was always in bits because I wanted to know how the gears worked. That's just the way my head is wired. And modes is just one of those things. Here's an example. Let me just grab a guitar. Right. Okay, I'm not plugged in at the moment, so you just have to deal with a kind of tinny acoustic strum. But for instance, have you noticed how, like, you might get a song where there's an A minor going to a D minor? You might have. People would say that's in A minor. But you might get another song also based around A minor that goes to a D major. Now, the reason why one of those A minor tunes has a D major in it and the other has a D minor in it is because they are in different modes. And the worst thing you can do when it comes to learning about modes is to start thinking in terms of the mode is the scale starting on the first note or the mode is the scale starting on the second note. It's not about that kind of thing at all. But, I've done videos on it in the past. I'm not going to go into any more detail here. But if you're interested, buy the book when it comes out. Let's have a look. Scally 1969. You just summed it up perfectly there, mate. Journalists are people who can't play, giving odious reviews about stuff they've no clue about. Indeed, yes. Let's have a look. Yeah, indeed, Jay Aoyong, no Joe Pass, indeed. Jay Aoyong, the list is irrelevant to guitarists. What else we got? Pinched harmonics. Have you ever covered or likely to cover them at all? Says Steve Entwistle. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying no. I'll never cover pinched harmonics on this channel. Be they gone. I'm not saying that. It's just my only kind of thing is why I don't think I've ever done a video on them is because it's how do you make like a 10-minute video out of pinched harmonics? It's just a case of, well, for me anyway, pick up the guitar again. It's just a case of find the point on the string where they kind of pop out as you graze the string with the flesh of your thumb like that. And that's it. End of video. I suspect there are people who could, wax lyrical about how to play them and what uses you can put them to for kind of a good 30 minutes. But I'm not one of them. I don't know what to say about those things. Maybe I could do some sort of compilation video talking about sounds that you can get out of your guitar and less than conventional sounds you can get out of your guitar. There might be an idea there. It's you've planted a seed, mate, put it that way. Michael Purcell saying you could do a John Sykes use of harmonics. I could indeed if I could play it like John Sykes. Draw your own conclusions, mate. Let's have a look. Scally 1969 said, seeing as the Rolling Stones are in the news with their new album, maybe a Keith Richards 5-string open tuning video. I did an open tunings video a little while ago, and I think I name-checked Keith in that. Or Jay Aoyong saying Gary Moore wasn't in the list. Can you imagine? Yeah, well, Gary was never, I believe, that big a star in the US. I mean, he was known, but he was... I remember reading Guitar Player magazine in the 1980s, and when Gary was at the height of his, kind of Victims of the Future, Wild Frontier, Run for Cover, Corridors of Power kind of era, when he was rocking, basically. And for a good 5 years, I read that magazine, and they not only did they never interview him, I think possibly maybe once, but he was never on the cover, and he rarely ever got a mention. I just don't think he was, a big box office in the US. Excuse me, chaps. We need to refill. Let me just read the chat while I'm doing this. Jay Aoyong saying, yeah, you really need high levels of gain to make it scream. You do indeed, mate. And although I do, kind of do sort of high-ish gain stuff, what I refer to as the shouty stuff in a lot of my tunes, it's never usually that high gain. When I show the settings on the on the gain pedal, the new X Horseman, fantastic pedal, by the way, and I've got a comparison with that coming up very shortly between the new X Horseman and the TC Electronic Zeus pedal. When that'll be going out, I don't know, but I'm going to be featuring a little bit of a clone shootout. But, if I just show you this here, because imagine this is the same sort of pedal as mine. That's where I have the control set, bang on 12 o'clock. So, into a sort of edge of breakup plexi sort of style amp tone. It's not massively high gain. So, the other thing that you've never seen me do really are, I think in one video, and I'll give 1,000,000 bonus points to anybody who can name that video. You never see me doing the kind of old pick scrape thing coming down the string with the side of the pick either. It's just not in my playbook. It's just not something I ever got into doing, because it's an 80s kind of thing, really. And it's an 80s rock thing. And the 80s, I was in a bit of a kind of a blues sulk, basically. Let's have a look, see what else we got. The TC Electronic Jimmy 45 review, definitely got one of those on the cards. They came out to such a big fanfare, those TC Electronic amp in a box pedals. Everybody was saying that how fantastic they were. So I thought, right, I better do one. And they're only like 100 odd quid. So I thought, well, I can stand for that. And it's, it's not a bad, it's not an expensive price. But guess what? They were sold out everywhere. So I thought I'll come back to those when they're back in stock, and life kind of intervenes and gets in the way, and I forgot all about it. So thank you for reminding me. But yeah, there'll definitely be one of those. As I say, I work on these videos about 4 or 5, well, minimum 5 weeks in advance. So I don't know if it's going to be kind of this side of the tinsel and turkey fest that's coming up in an alarmingly short period of time. It doesn't seem 5 minutes ago since we were all sweltering in the summer heat, and now we're being told how many shopping days there are to Christmas. Every time you go to the supermarket, there's yet another aisle that's bedecked with tinsel and baubles and mince pies. Funniest thing the other day, Christmas mince pies in the local branch of Morrison's, best before 1st of December. It's like, I love Christmas. I just used to prefer it when it was in December. Anyway, Pete McGowan Forsyth is saying, should I sell my Katana 50 and buy a tube amp? Well, it depends. Are you dissatisfied with the sound you're getting from your Katana 50? Or are you doing it? Are you considering it because everybody's saying, yeah, you need a tube amp, mate, you need a tube amp? The Katana is a great sounding amp. it's a great sounding amp that you know, if I was going to get out and get on my hind legs in front of an audience tomorrow, I'd get one, because it does all of the sounds that you need, and it does them pretty well. It has to be said, well enough for you know, getting up in front of a pub audience or a club audience. And you know, there is this kind of purist mentality that, oh, you need tube amps. Well, do you really? You know, I mean, I use Guitar Rig, and not so much these days since I've got the blue guitar amp, but the sounds I got out of Guitar Rig are, it feels and sound, it responds like a tube amp. You know, bias amp is even better, but for some reason bias amp stopped working for me. I've got the license for it, but just keeps timing out like the trial version, and I've never got round to you know, giving anyone the hairdryer treatment over that one yet. But bottom line is, mate, if you're happy with the sounds that you're getting, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's always that sort of that serotonin, isn't it? That's the thing that gets released by your body. There's that serotonin hit when you buy a new piece of gear and you're waiting for it to be delivered, and it's, you know, and you're unpacking it, and there's all of that. That is a real thing, but that lasts about a day, doesn't it? And again, the thing with tube or valve amps is that they do require a little bit of TLC from time to time, especially if they have the word Marshall written on the front. And you know, there are components inside them which are consumable. You know, they wear out, notably the valves. So if you can get, you know, kind of 99% or even over 90% of the same tones from a Katana, then use the Katana, mate. You know, it's a great sounding little amp. It's up to you to decide whether it's you know, whether it's something that you're happy with or not. Rent to Kill is asking, what's for tea tonight? It is my homemade curry. And Pete McGowan Forsyth is saying, Tone Studio leaves me lost. Yeah, you do have to be, I suppose, you know, comfortable with editing and IT and stuff like that. And I get that, because I was seriously thinking about getting the Sonic 8 Matra box after I did that review of it. I was really impressed with the sounds that came out of it. But I just don't like scrolling through menus and stuff like that to kind of get the sounds. I just like to turn a knob, you know. And all right, yeah, there are kind of controls that can do that, but you've still got to kind of scroll through stuff. You're just doing it with a knob instead of like a mouse. So I get that. Funnily enough, that kind of thing on a computer screen doesn't bother me as much. But when I'm squinting into a little window on the top of a multi-effects unit, then it's something that, you know, I'm not kind of happy to do. And as for this 1,700 quid Fender Tone Master Pro, yeah, I'm sorry, but you can just poke it for that, you know. 1,700 quid, I don't think so. You know, it's anyway. And I've got to tell you, I'm not impressed by the sounds I've heard from it either. James Hunt is asking, when are you going to disclose your curry recipe? I'll tell you now if you want. If enough people say curry in the chat, I will happily tell you my curry recipe. Chris Otterwell saying it's only $14.99. Well, yes, a bargain then. I must have been quoting the dollar price. That's the one that I've seen. Oh, we've got Ian Clark just turning up. Apologies for my late arrival. Nice to see you here, mate. Anyway, Steve Cass, curry. Oh, right. Okay, my curry recipe. Right, here we go. Skinless, boneless chicken breast. Dice it into cubes. and then marinate it overnight in a mixture of plain natural yogurt and a tub of curry powder. Sling the whole tub of curry powder into the yogurt, make a paste, marinate the chicken overnight in that. Right, next, what do I do? Right, okay, so life is too short. Simply too short to chop onions. So go and buy yourself a bag of frozen diced onions and a bag of frozen diced peppers, and soften those in a little bit of oil. What I'm telling you here is the recipe for like the big batch that goes in the freezer. Scale this up or down for individual servings. So you want about 10 skinless, boneless chicken breasts, like a bag of frozen diced onions, a bag of frozen diced peppers. Soften those in some oil. And then the one bit where I cheat is I use a bought curry paste. You want a Madras curry paste. The reason I use a pre-made curry paste is because I really can't, again, life is too short to be kind of crushing kind of spices and stuff in a pestle and mortar. So Patak's or Sherwood's Madras paste, 2 jars of that. They go in with the softened onions and peppers. Then, meanwhile, you fried the chicken off in, well, I do it in the air fryer these days, but anyway, you can fry it off or bake it off in the oven, doesn't matter. Then set that to one side, and as you, once you kind of cook the curry paste and the onions and peppers off, a litre of pineapple juice goes in to the cooking pot, and a couple of tins of peeled chopped tomatoes, and then 2 or 3 tins of lentils. You can buy kind of dried lentils and soak them overnight, but again, life is too short. That they go into the pot, and then basically bring that to a boil, and you've got your chicken that you've kind of marinated and kind of fried off. That then goes into the pot, bring it all to the boil, leave it to simmer for an hour. That's my curry recipe. So there you go. Michael Beliveau, cheater, yes. Dr. Gomez is saying, you had me until pineapple juice. I used to use exactly the same recipe, but I used coconut milk. And just sort of discovered that I didn't really like the sort of creamy kind of curries. I like the sort of the tartness of the pineapple juice. Do you have it with rice? Sometimes have it with rice. Tonight it will be, in true British tradition, it will be served with chips. And something about curry and chips, isn't it? It's just fantastic. No sultanas, John. No. Red lentils, yellow lentils, or green lentils. Basically yellow lentils, because them's the only ones I can get. They used to come in a tin, but these days they come in a little Tetra pack. But it's the same brand. So it's not quite the same as making it from scratch, but it's a lot more. It's a lot further removed from just buying a tin of ready-made curry sauce. Do you fry your chips in lard? No, I fry them in the air fryer, mate. Funniest thing talking about lard. My mother, bless her, when she was alive, about 10 years before she passed away, she had a heart attack and rushed into hospital. And and anyway, she was all right. She was fine. It was, as her doctor told her at the time, a warning shot across the bows. And so I went after she got let out of the hospital. I was kind of going around there every now and again, a couple of times a week, to check how she was getting on. And she had one of these, these kind of shopping list kind of whiteboards in the kitchen in the flat where she lived. And she's just come out of hospital. She's had a heart attack, and she's putting a shopping list together for the trip to Tesco or whatever. Top of the shopping list, lard. I said, Mother, you've just come out of hospital from having a heart attack, and you're buying lard. And I was quite firmly put in my place. So there you go. Um, uh, yeah, chips with a proper curry, bloody heathen, lol. Yes, it is. But I like it. I like it. Okay, you must have tried that a couple of times, Pete McGowan Forsyth. Okay, one more time. So if I do miss your comment, I do apologise. I'm not Rick Beato. I don't have a whole host of Santa's little helpers here keeping track of the chat. When I'm blethering, I'm in blether mode, and I just kind of, and I do apologise for missing stuff in the chat. But a video on top 5 female rock guitarists. Your wish is my command, mate. Let's put that in there. Now, I did... if I can get this pen to work, I did do a video, oh gosh, it's got to be a couple of years ago, on my top 5 female guitar players of any genre. And there was people in there like Maybelle Carter, and, you know, ladies who weren't rock guitarists. But maybe if I narrow it down, am I allowed to use... To include blues guitarists in that, because I am quite the fan of Joanne Shaw Taylor, and some of her stuff you could call blues rock, I suppose. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Let's have a look. Again, I'm slowing down on the live stream here. We're 47 minutes in, and I haven't even finished me second beer. I'm going to have to do some catching up for me. John Jones is saying, guitar, beer, curry, then what? Well, who needs anything else? Oh, Murray music, dripping, even better. Yes, indeed. Beef dripping. Gentlemen and ladies of a certain age from the UK will no doubt remember the Sunday night, tea time ritual. You'd had roast beef for Sunday lunch, and there was a big roasting pan full of beef dripping. And Sunday night tea was always beef dripping with salt and pepper on toast. Oh, dear me, that was good. Oh, yes, I remember it well. A lot of talk about Lita Ford here. Yes, indeed. Great guitar player. Samantha Fish. Again, Samantha Fish is one of those guitar players that, much like, to me, she's like a female Joe Bonamassa. She ticks all the Joe Bonamassa boxes, and a couple more, because she's Samantha Fish, let's face it. You know, but in terms of a guitar playing, she ticks all the boxes, but it never really kind of gives me the fizz, really. You know, I can appreciate she's massively talented, but same with Joe Bonamassa, it just never, it never really kind of makes me kind of go, oh, yeah. Susan Tedeschi, yes, indeed. You know, one of my kind of albums that I'm sort of obsessing on at the moment is the Tedeschi Trucks Band re-recording of when they just had the balls to go out there and play the entire Layla album live. You know, just, I mean, an iconic album, and just even to re-record it, that takes, you know, a certain amount of stones to do that. But to do it as a live album, dear me, that takes some kind of, as I say, some courage to do that. And people, Mimi Sounds, never heard of Mimi Sounds, J.O. Young, and Nita Strauss, not that familiar with her stuff. Yes, Weldy, Wendy. I've never been quite sure how to pronounce the surname. Is it Melvoin or Melvoin? I'm not sure. But yes, she was part of Prince's crew many, many years ago, wasn't she? Um, oh, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She was definitely on my top 5 female guitarists when I did that video eons ago. But yes, there will be a top 5 female rock guitarist video coming up. Excuse me, chaps. I doubt we'll finish this one before the end of the live stream, but we can give it a good old college try, can't we? Here we go. Get ready to take flake, everyone. Here it goes. Here it goes. One thing about the Heineken, it doesn't get too much of a kind of bouncy head on it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. As a head on a pint, that'll do, won't it? Jennifer Batten, undoubtedly. Stephen Seattle. Mimi is a decent player, but does she? Oh, I know who you're talking about now. Yes, yes, I know who it is, and perhaps it's just the old fuddy-duddy in me. But I do find that kind of thing rather off-putting. I've got to tell you. But anyway, there you go. That's just me. Your mileage may vary. Oh, now, Mark Kernow. Mark Kernow, you are a genius, sir. Top 5. Where have they gone? Let's write that down. Or a top 5, whatever happened to. So, yeah, definitely. That's another. See, this is again. I tell the wife when I come upstairs on a Friday night to do this live stream with me kind of cool bag full of beer in my hand. I always say, I'm just off to work, darling. And she just gives me that look, that look that your wife always gives you, when it's like, don't push it, son, But this is important research. These are videos that I would never have thought of doing, So there you go. Thank you for taking part in my research. Let's have a look, see what we got. Top 5, why are they still here? Dr. Gomez 1, I hang a boob over my guitar while playing too. Well, you and me are the same in that regard, mate. Yes, indeed. It's, it's, as I say, too many chins and not enough hair. But, I'm past that crest of the hill of life where you're on the downhill slope, so you just kind of enjoy the ride, really. Let's have a look. Best movie with a guitar soundtrack. Ooh. Now, I am going to be doing one that has been suggested, which is top 5, because I did 2 top 5 videos about my favourite movies, actually. But it was suggested to me this week by a student. If you're watching, Dave, hello. It was suggested to me this week by Dave, one of my students, that I do a top 5 musicals, musical movies kind of video. And yeah, I'm up for that idea. Roadhouse, McVicker, indeed, Michael Beliveau. And Crossroads, indeed. That might have to be a 2-parter as well, because the more I think about it, I mean, to let you, spoiler alert, to let you know in advance, top 5 movie musicals, Grease would have to be on there, because it's just, it's the sound of my childhood. The Wall, obviously, Fistful of Dollars, Paris, Texas, loads of great suggestions coming up here. which were already. Yeah, you see Vincent Brennan's Spinal Tap. It's about music, but it's not really a musical, really, is it? It's a satire on the music industry. Sean House, how about top 5 albums without guitars? I did that one ages ago, mate, absolutely ages ago. And I'm talking like before kind of COVID and all of that, back in about, I think, possibly mid-2019. And the viewing figures on that video were like, oh, he's not talking about guitars, I'm not watching that. I'll come back when he's talking some sense. John Jones is saying, how old are you, by the way? I'm 63. Well, I'm 56, mate. I'll be 57 in February. So, you know, it's just, as I say, I'm past that point where, you know, where I can realistically say middle-aged, because middle-aged tends to imply you're sort of somewhere around the halfway point. Yeah, 112 with my liking for bacon sandwiches and beer and vaping and curry and stuff. It's never going to happen, is it? I do notice, because, like, obviously, you know, I every now and again, I don't do it the way some YouTubers do, where they're all over their analytics, you know, to kind of try and second guess what the algorithm and the audience want from them, and to try and make videos like that. I just make the videos I want to make, to be honest with you, and they either sink or swim on their own merits. And but I do occasionally look at my YouTube analytics, and the demographic of my audience is over 99% male, and, you know, it's overwhelmingly kind of in the 35 to 70 age group. So, you know, I know my audience, and, you know, I just kind of think, all I ever do, the only kind of filter I ever use when I'm making videos is like, would I watch that video if someone else made it? Oh, dear me, I see we're all kind of comparing age now. Let's have a look. See where I seem to be, by the looks of this, somewhere in, you know, kind of let's say the upper half of the middle section of Steve Cassidy guitar. I think you've confused this live stream with Grinder there, mate. But there you go. Anyway, where are we? Oh, 58 minutes. I can take another slug of beer. Shall I see if I can finish this one before we hit 60 minutes? Shall I do that? Here we go. And then it was gone, right before your very eyes. Oh, dear me. Was there any doubt? Down it. I have indeed. Don't worry, there's plenty more where that came from. They had a special offer on with Heineken in Morrison's this week, but that is the end of the pint, and I guess we'll make that the end of the live stream as well. Thank you once again, each and every one of you. At the current count, 170 people, for turning up and giving up an hour of your precious Friday to watch a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.